One. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the special simulcast, the Neil Haley Show and the Mina Valentine Show with our host, Mina Valentine. Hi, Mina, what's up?
Hi. The sky.
All right, you have a great topic about marriage today. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to talk just a little bit about love and marriage. Let me get that out of the way. Yeah. Um, and the thing that many people don't seem to recognize or understand is in the aristocracy, it was not uncommon to have marriages of convenience. And what they tried to do was merge two uh, families from the aristocracy. And if they had a daughter and her father was an earl, they would push to see if she might be able to couple with um, uh, uh, not a duke, but a marquis, moving up the ladder. And if they had a son that was the heir, they would want the girl to at least be at some level of lordship, um, because they wanted to keep everything in um, in the aristocracy, within the aristocracy. It was a little less common that someone would marry out of the aristocracy, and it would have to depend on a lot of things. If the man was of a substantial rank, like a marquis or a duke, and married a common but wealthy woman, she might be accepted, and that would be a stretch. But um, I read several journals where the man had been in the aristocracy, an earl, a marquis, and he married a preacher's daughter, and she was never accepted. Um, and so they moved to the country. Those things happened. I did read a story about a gentleman that started out in the north of England. He became quite wealthy, uh, mining and selling coal. He went to London on occasion and bought a townhouse in the affluent area. He was accepted, and he married a woman. Later, he married a woman whose father was an earl. And so they began to be invited to some of the balls and some of the other functions. So money might buy you in, but it would have to be a lot. And the spouse, of course, if he didn't have a spouse, he wouldn't be there anyway. But if he had a spouse whose father had been ranked, then they probably had a better chance of breaking through that aristocratic society. But they were very clustered. And to marry for love was just uh, icing on the top.
Yeah.
They would hope to get along. If they didn't get along, they would have enough children that they had an heir,
Right.
and then they would lead separate lives. Divorce was very rare, and if a divorce did culminate to severing the marriage, the woman lost everything. If they had children, she didn't get the children. She, if she had anything that she brought into the marriage, she didn't get it back. It was pretty ruthless for many, many decades. There are other countries like Ireland and Scotland and Wales, where the inheritance is a little different, but
Right.
women in London, no matter what their rank, they would be respected as long as they had a father or a husband with rank.
It's all about the rank.
Yeah, it is. It really is. Um,
Did England ever change in that way, or is the only people who have money the aristocracy still people that are in higher level?
I I I know that we still are. England still reveres the the Prince of Wales, the King, the Queen. Um, the other ranks, they may get some recognition, but they're not nearly as many because when the industrial era started moving in, the agricultural societies began to lessen. They the poor people were flooding into London to get factory jobs, and then if a lord had property out in the country, it was difficult to find people that were willing to work, and then they had to pay them an astronomical amount of money. And so, and the younger generations didn't want to live out in the country. So a lot of properties were sold and sectioned off, and houses, urban sprawl. But as far as how revered some of those um, titles are today, I couldn't really say because I haven't really researched that. But I would say they must have had maybe hundreds of marquees back in the day, and now there's probably less than 100. Um,
Not many marquees left.
not many of any of the ranks left because it costs too much money. It's all
Explain that. Explain why it costs too much money.
well, if they, like I said, if they probably inherited land, property. A lot of these families had one or two country homes and a townhouse in London. They couldn't afford that. If they didn't have, if they weren't farming, or if the farming wasn't going well, their money was depleting, the best thing they could do would be to sell it off.
Yeah.
So the even the wealthy, the aristocracies, it was a slow process, but it did happen.
Yeah.
But now the upside to that, I suppose, I suppose, is that more people seem to want to get married for love. Um, and while that is a wonderful thing, a great feeling, if you don't have any other connection other than like sex or something, then those marriages seem to go by the wayside as well. I guess the latest statistic I heard on American marriages is they about 50% of them fail. So, what would be the harm in marrying someone that was from your society, of your own rank, um, that you had everything else in common uh, that would sustain the relationship rather than, oh, I love her. She's a terrible family. She has a terrible family, and they've all gone to jail, and she doesn't have any money. She grew up in a trailer, but I love her. And that doesn't look very promising for a future, you know?
And it lasts for only a certain amount of time. Then that disappears.
Yeah, the 7 year itch is getting shorter and shorter. I think it's like 4 or 5 years now.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but do you know any of your peers that have only been married once?
Yeah, I mean, people, there are people out there. Yes. It's a few and far between, and it's a process, and, you know, and I think that it's getting crazier and crazier if people even going to get married anymore.
I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And, and the statistics that have been projected for the future is that by 2030, Hispanics and Latinos are going to be the dominant population because white folks aren't having children anymore.
Yep.
Yeah,
And not many people are going to have children anymore, and there'll be no population at all.
I know.
Exactly. All
Yeah.
right. Well, so we go to minavalentine.com, purchase your book.
Please do.
Yeah, the again, continue to do the podcast, and we really appreciate you coming on, Mina. Thanks again.
Good to see you.
That was a special simulcast. Neil Haley Show, and the Mina Valentine Show, guys. Take care.